Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. If you watched the last video, you saw us talk about how to prevent getting backlashes with your bait cast reels by properly setting your braking system. It really is a simple process to prevent getting backlashes, but there are times when you guys want to cast way up under a dock or make a super long cast, and that's going to lead to a backlash. It's just part of the game. It's going to happen. It happens to the best of us, guys. But if you get a backlash, there are things you need to know that doesn't damage your line or doesn't, make it worse. It gets you fishing faster. And that's what I want to tell you guys about today. So first off, a couple things that I don't think you should do because it will cause damage is to not just grab your main line and pull tight. If you do that, you're going to create potential pinch points, and that's going to lead to weakening your line. So you may get it out 5 casts later, you may break your line on the cast and lose the crankbait you were throwing or whatever bait you had on. To counter that, the same thing only going from the other way is don't just tighten your breakdown and reel into it. If you're throwing monofilament or fluorocarbon, that also can create pitch points. It may work with braid, but I still don't think it necessarily is the best option, because if it doesn't work, you probably created a much worse backlash. So those are two things that could potentially weaken your line. The third thing that I don't think you should do, because it could potentially make it worse, is to just grab line and start pulling. There's very specific places that you should be pulling that will help you get it out. But if you grab the wrong places and just start pulling, it could lead to a much worse backlash. So that's what I want to get at, guys. Most backlashes occur because the main line has somehow gotten other strands of line in your spool to wrap over it. And then when that line comes over it, you wrap more line around it, which is keeping your main line from coming out. It's almost like it created a trap for your main line. So the key is to follow the main line. In order to get these out, you just need to follow the main line and grab the line that goes over the main line. Most backlashes will look like your main line's going through a hoop of line, right? So if you pull the main line, what it's going to do is pull a loop up and almost want to create like a little bit of a point, because your main line is pushing that loop up. That's where you want to grab. So in this case, I've got that here on this backlash in my reel. I'm pulling my main line, it's not coming out, but when I pull it up, I see it's going through a loop of line. So that's what I want to grab, is that loop of line. If I pull that loop of line, if I can grab it here, pull it like that. I pulled it up and it popped free because I felt it pop back out from the other strands of line that were holding it down. So in this case, then I'll put my thumb back on my spool to control the spool because it's in free spool mode right now. Grab the line and pull it again. When I do that, I see now I've got another loop that it's going through. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab that loop, and you saw it when I backed it out. It's this loop right here. So I'm going to grab that, I'm going to pull it, and it popped free again. Now I'm going to pull that to the side. See, this is the loop I pulled free. Pull it to the side, grab my main line, control the spool again with my thumb so I don't make a worse backlash, and pull again, and it just pulled that right into the reel. And now I'm just going to keep pulling until I get all of the slack line out. If you reel this back in, even though I've got that backlash technically out, if I reel this back in, I'm going to get more backlashes. You want to pull it so you have no other loops in your line. So I'm just going to keep pulling it. And there, I have no loops now on my spool. Engage the reel to tighten it back down. Grab your main line so that it goes back on the spool smoothly, and you can start reeling it in at that point, and you've just taken that backlash out. I did it quickly, and I did it without damaging my line. Had I just been pulling on those loops, you're going to create potential damage spots in those loops where your main line was going through it. That's the worst thing that you can do, in my opinion. It really is not that hard. The majority of backlashes, 95% of them, should come out really quickly if you follow that process. If you grab the wrong loops and start pulling, you could lead to a worse backlash. So guys, keep your patience, do it slowly, take it out one loop at a time, and you'll get it out without having further damage, and it'll get you back on the water fishing more quickly. So thanks for watching. I hope this was a helpful tip. If you want to go back and watch how to prevent getting backlashes, click the video right there. Stay tuned, more tips and tricks coming out every day.